You have told the story 100 times to your friends, to your family, maybe even your therapist. You replay the moment they just left. The confusing text message, the cold conversation, the deafening silence that followed. Each time you tell it, you are hoping something will click, that this time it will finally make sense and the pain will go away. But it doesn't. That anxiety is still churning in your stomach. The sleepless nights are still happening. The obsessive thoughts are still looping, don't they? But what if the very thing you think is helping you heal, talking it out, is actually the trap? What if it's an illusion that's keeping you stuck in a cycle of pain? I'm going to show you why that is and give you a body-first method to finally break free and get your power back without ever having to rehash the story again. Sounds fair enough? Now, when someone you love suddenly withdraws and shuts you out, that classic confusing behavior some call an avoidant discard, the shock is physiological. It's not just a breakup, it is a sudden severing of connection that leaves your nervous system screaming for an answer. Your brain is desperately trying to make sense of something that feels senseless. So you talk, you analyze, you turn the story over and over, hoping to find a hidden clue or a reason that will finally bring you peace. But this is the trap. And it's built on a few powerful but false beliefs about healing. First, endless talking doesn't equal transformation. Now, this doesn't mean all talking is bad or that therapy isn't valuable. It absolutely can be, but rumination is different. When you obsessively retell the story of the breakup, your brain doesn't just remember it as a past event. It activates the same neural pathways as if the trauma were happening all over again right now. Each time you recount the details of your coldness, you're physically reliving the shock. Your heart might race, your stomach might clench, and your body gets another hit of stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. You're not healing the wound, you're picking the scab and keeping it fresh. Think of it like being in a car stuck in mud. Obsessively telling the story is like flooring the gas. You're making a lot of noise and smoke, and it feels like you are putting in a lot of effort. But effort doesn't equal movement. You're just digging yourself deeper into the same rut. Second, insight doesn't equal installation. Through all this talking and research, you might develop a brilliant intellectual understanding of your ex's attachment style. You have read the articles, you have watched the videos. You can explain exactly why they run when things got close, that it was their fear, not your failure, right? You have the insight. But has that insight stopped the 3 a.m. panic? Has it stopped you from checking their social media? Has it installed a feeling of calm in your body? Probably not. Because knowing why a fire alarm is blaring doesn't put out the fire, does it? Insight is the blueprint, but installation is the work. You can stare at the architectural plans for a house all day, but that won't put a roof over your head. You have to actually pick up the tools and build. In this case, the tools aren't more words. They work directly with your body. And finally, your brain defaults to what's familiar, not necessarily what is healthy. Right now, that state of anxiety, hypervigilance, and obsessive thinking has become painfully familiar to your nervous system. The discard threw you into survival mode, and your body has gotten used to living there. It's become your emotional home. Talking about it over and over just keeps you in that same neighborhood. Healing isn't about making sense of the old, broken down place you have been living in. It's about building a new one, an internal home built on calm and stability, and making that your new familiar. So if talking can be a trap, what's the way out? The answer isn't to think your way out. The key isn't to rehash the story with your mind, but to release the trauma from your body. This is the pivot from being a passive victim of your past to becoming the active architect of your future. This is where we stop spinning and start rewiring. Think of it like going to the gym. But instead of lifting weights to build your biceps, you are going to do specific reps to build a resilient and regulated nervous system. Welcome to the nervous system gym. Your new goal isn't to get closure from someone who may never give it to you. Your new goal is to make a state of calm so familiar to your body that anxiety feels like a foreign country you no longer want to visit. You are going to install new automatic responses so that peace becomes your new default. So, how do we do this? It's simple, but it takes practice. Here is a 3-step method you can start using today to get out of the story in your head and back into the power of your body. Step number 1, notice the body cue, aka awareness. The obsessive loop doesn't start with a fully formed thought. It starts with a physical feeling, a pain in your chest, a sudden tightness in your throat, a hollow feeling in your stomach. This is the first signal from your nervous system that the old pattern is kicking in. Your first job is to simply notice it. Don't jump into the story, just become aware of the physical sensation itself without judgment and name it. There is a tightness in my chest. I feel a knot in my stomach. You are learning to listen to your body's language before your mind hijacks that conversation. This is your first rep in the nervous system gym. Just notice. Step number 2, interrupt the pattern, the physiological pause. Now, once you have noticed the body cue, you need to physically interrupt the automatic stress response. You have to send a signal to your brain that despite the trigger, you are physically safe. One of the most powerful and fastest way to do this is with breath. You guessed it. Try the physiological sigh. It's a 2 sharp inhales through the nose, followed by a long, slow exhale through the mouth. Like this. Now, research shows this is one of the quickest ways to calm your automatic nervous system. It works. Another great technique is 4-7-8 breathing. Inhale through your nose for a count of 8, hold for 7, exhale slowly through your mouth for a count of 8. Do this 2 or 3 times. This simple action is a profound physical intervention. You are using your body to tell your brain, we aren't in danger right now. This creates a tiny space between the trigger and your usual reaction, and that space is where your power is. Step 3, install the new option, conscious action. Now that you have created a little space with your breath, you have to consciously choose to do something different. This isn't about trying to think a different thought. It's about taking a different action. First, name the old pattern out loud. My old habit is to start obsessing and check my phone. By naming it, you separate yourself from it. It's a pattern, not you. Next, choose a simple new physical action. It doesn't have to be big. Stand up and walk to the window. Feel your feet on the floor. A grounding exercise that reminds your body you are here, now. Run your hands under cold water and focus only on that sensation. Or adopt a rule a client of mine used. State out loud, I will deal with this feeling tomorrow. You are consciously putting off the spiral. Each time you do this, notice the cue, pause with breath, and choose a new action. You complete 1 full rep in the nervous system gym. You are literally building a new neural pathway. At first, it feels hard. The pull of the old story will be strong, but with repetition, the new pathway gets stronger, more established, and eventually automatic. And if you want more body-first tools like this, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell right now. Every week, I share practical methods to calm your nervous system, break trauma loops, and rebuild real peace after heartbreak. Now, this might sound too simple to work, but let me tell you about a client of mine. Let's call him Mark. He came to me in a state of total collapse after his partner suddenly left. He was barely sleeping, constantly checking her online status, and stuck in imaginary arguments in his head all night. He had told the story to anyone who would listen, positive that if he could just understand why, he'd be free. We stopped talking about her completely. Instead, we put this exact 3-step process into practice. His new action was a firm 24-hour rule. Anytime he felt the urge to ruminate or check on her, he noticed the tightness in his chest, did 2 physiological sighs, and said aloud, "I'll deal with this in 24 hours." The first week was brutal, but he did his reps. Within 6 weeks, he was sleeping through the night again. The obsessive thoughts had gone from a constant roar to a distant hum. He wasn't just managing his pain, he was building a new foundation of internal stability. He stopped spinning his wheels and started to get real traction. And if you are ready to stop talking, stop spinning your wheels, and start building a new, resilient nervous system from the ground up, here is what you can do next. You can join the Love Leaders community for free and get started with resources like the Panic to Peace protocol. Or, if you are ready for deeper transformation right now, you can apply for the Fresh Start 6-week protocol. Both links are in the description below. Now, the way out of the pain from this kind of breakup is not through the story. The story is the trap. The path out is through your body. Stop rehearsing the past. Start building the future you want to live in. A future where you wake up feeling a quiet confidence. A future where a memory can pop up without triggering a crisis. A future where your peace isn't dependent on anyone else. This isn't a fantasy. This is what happens when you do the reps. It's what happens when you realize you have the power to rewire your own patterns. It's what happens when you stop talking and start building yourself. Thank you very much.